Hey guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So today we're doing another comparison video, and it's also Atari and Intellivision. Now this game I was more familiar with on the Intellivision. I believe it started on the Intellivision, called Frog Bog. And I remember playing it when I was a kid. I didn't fully understand what the heck I was doing, but you know, it doesn't take a lot to really, you know, understand the game. You're pretty much bouncing on lily pads and eating flies. And then there's also the Atari 2600 version, also made by the same developers, the M Network, which was the Intellivision people making games for the Atari, and this was their version. Now they changed the name of it from Frog Bog to Frogs and Flies. I'm not sure why that was done or what the reasoning was. They did the same thing with Night Stalker when they had Night Stalker on the Intellivision, and then they kind of ported it to the Atari and called it Dark Cavern. So I'm sure there's some kind of legal issues there with the naming or something. But anyways, yeah, the game is kind of, it's a mellow game. It's one of those games where you just kind of relax and have fun with it. So let's start off. I always like to start with the Atari version, and then we'll see how it looks like in comparison to the Intellivision version. Okay, so we got the Atari version booted up. So you can see we got the two lily pads there at the bottom, the two frogs, and what looks like a kind of a swamp background. Got the trees and stuff, and yeah. So let's give it a shot. Now I'm gonna put it on the harder difficulty. There's two difficulty settings for this. One is your frog can fall in the water, and the other one you can't. And also it the easy mode. Oh, it just fell in the water. It automatically sticks the tongue out when it jumps in the air to catch the flies. Oh. So the controls of this does take some getting used to. I mean, I didn't play this a lot when I was younger, but actually I didn't play the Atari one really at all until much later. When I started buying up a lot of Atari games. But even when I played this on the Intellivision, I really didn't do too well back then either. But yeah, this pretty much the gist of the game is you're trying to get the most amount of flies. Of course, this is one of those games where it's definitely better playing it with a friend or a partner or somebody, just because you get a little more interaction. Playing with a computer is fun, but it's just another one of those games where it's just fun to play with a second player. Oh, and judging how to jump is where it really becomes an issue, and how high to jump, because you see how I could easily just jump past that lily pad. Oh, I keep missing them. I like how though the background changes. It looks like it's going through the phases of the day. So it starts off kind of in that one shade, and then it's getting darker, and so I like that. I like they added that little bit of a touch. Oh, I'm in there. I'm in the swamp. Now, unlike our other Froggy game, Frogger, well, I guess not. I guess in this, it's still the same problem. The frogs really can't go in the water. But you don't really die when you go in the water in this one. You just kind of climb out. Whereas in Frogger, you kind of dies. You lose a life, which is bizarre. Oh, okay, so we're at nighttime now. Would have been nice if they had a few extra little, changes to the screen. Maybe have a moon up there or something. Maybe some stars, just to give it a little bit of a difference, but oh man, not doing too well. Keep missing. Oh no! Oh. Of course, every time you fall in the water, it kind of, slows you down. But I like that. That's a nice little added touch where that little fly thing just kind of brings in the end. That's kind of a neat touch that they decided to do for the 2600. Okay, now we have Frog Bog for the Intellivision. You can see there, it's got its typical Intellivision start screen, 1982. And, you know, I was looking at the overlay, and it does give you some options where you can go, you can choose daytime or nighttime, and then it tells you which the different moves are. So let's go with the daytime. And there we go. So, very, very similar. I mean, we got the two lily pads there, we got the two frogs, and you're jumping back and forth. The background obviously has a little bit more detail. You know, not too much more, I would say. It's not like that background is really groundbreaking for the Intellivision graphics. There's definitely a lot more better looking games out there, but it does its job. I mean, it really gives you the impression that it's a swamp, and you know. I like the sound effects, though. The sound effects are really nice in this one. I mean, the Atari 2600 had some pretty decent sound effects, but this one really does sound like you're in a swamp, and the frog sounds are pretty good. Oh, come on, you can do it. Now it does give you options to change the angles for when you're jumping. Oh, let's see here. If I remember on my controller pad. Those don't. I guess they're supposed to be flies, but they kind of look. Oh, they look like a wide range of insects, actually. I like the detailing on the insects, though. I mean, in the Atari, they were just two little fluttering squares. In this one, actually, you can see kind of a shape of them. Now, just for contrast, I'm just going to switch it over. No, not pause. I want to reset. And let's do nighttime. Okay, so you can hear you got the crickets in the background, which is a neat touch. And you do have a moon, so that's cool too. Whoa! Now this one, I find the controls on the nighttime one are a little bit harder. I'm not sure why. Oh, and I'm in the water. Oh, and I'm in the water again. Definitely the daytime was a lot more easier. I think this is where I need to use my controls. And it's a little bit difficult for me to do this because, you know, I'm not using an actual Intellivision controller, which would be optimal for this game to use the control pad as well, or the keypad. So I'm just going to have to just keep using the jump button, but I seem to be jumping in the water a heck of a lot. Looks like the moon is actually going down as well. Whoa! I believe in this one too, it's a 3-minute timer. So it's how many you can get in 3 minutes. Woo woo! Oh, I thought I was going to go into the drink there. Ah! Whoa! But otherwise, I mean, the gameplay is pretty much just this. I mean, it doesn't really change. And that's why I said it's more of a relaxing style of game. It's just fun and calm, and probably better to play with an actual second player as opposed to the computer. But I'm glad they at least gave you a one-player mode. It kind of sucked when you had Intellivision games that required 2 players. You know, like boxing. I really wish boxing had an AI player, but it you know, unfortunately it doesn't. So you always have to have somebody to play with, or else you're just playing against an opponent that's just going to stand there. Okay, so there we have it. We have the Frogs and Flies for the Atari 2600 and Frog Bob for the Intellivision. Both fairly simple, fun to play games. Both very relaxing games. I mean, they're not designed to be that kind of a, you know, very skillful It doesn't take you a lot of time to really figure it out. And, playing with an opponent would just be like, it would be fun. I don't know how long you would want to play this game. I don't know if this is something you would really sit there for a long time playing. But it's just a nice option to be able to just put that one in between some other games. Like if you're having, your buddy over and you're doing the sports games and stuff like that, just to throw in something like this to have a little bit of fun. The sounds are okay. They're nice. There was no music soundtrack, so it was just the nice sounds of the swamp and the crickets and stuff, and the croaking of the frogs, and the lashing of the tongues. So they did some pretty good job there. But the graphics, they were okay for both systems. I mean, the Atari, it was okay. The typical blocky graphics that you get on the Atari. The Intellivision, a little bit better. Still not the greatest as far as what the Intellivision would typically do for graphics, but, it was passable and you could really see that you were in a swamp. So, I think they did an okay job for the graphics as well. Anyways, let me know what you think. Throw some comments down below if you've played either one of these or which ones you prefer. Always like to hear what you have to say. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.